Hello, America, and welcome to the Great America Show. Thank you so much, folks, for being with us tonight on this monumental night here in America. President Trump has done it once again. He's called the Marxist Dems bluff, as he's done for the last pretty much 10 years. They say he won't do it, and he does it. It's been the mantra of President Trump. It's pretty much been at the forefront of everything he's done, like I said, for the last 10 years. Trump derangement syndrome is out of control, and never did we think it was going to be this bad from within the Republican Party. We've watched it from the Democrats, like I said, for 10 years. But now, of times of late, there's been some Republicans who are catching the derangement syndrome. Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, Don Bacon, the folks, Gallagher's, all those who have already departed Congress. Yesterday, we did a whole nice little expose and a show on Marjorie Taylor Greene, the latest Trump defector and RINO who wants to take on President Trump. And last night we did a great show. And if you didn't catch it last night, you can go to our Rumble page or our YouTube page and watch the rerun of that, because I'm not patting myself on the back, and I never do. I think it was a pretty good show laying out the case against Marjorie Taylor Greene and her issues with President Trump. And those issues, I think, really lie within her personal issues. And like I said, if you missed that episode, you'll see it. I think we laid it out pretty succinctly that she's the problem and it's not President Trump. She's made this whole thing that it's Donald Trump and it's the Epstein files, and that's why he doesn't like her anymore. It's not because of her just white trash ways that she's been spewing for years, that people are tired of it. And now I think we see there was a party who dealt with her and tolerated her because President Trump liked her. I think we're going to see that tolerance start to dwindle and start to fade away. That people don't have to be friends with her anymore, and people don't have to tolerate her anymore because President Trump, his family, and MAGA want nothing to do with her. Now, I've seen on Twitter for the last 24 hours, 48 hours, and over the weekend that it's some people saying, well, it's President Trump who's drifted away from America first. It's President Trump who's drifted away from MAGA. And there's been times, and we call it out here on this show, where I think he certainly has. And whether it be the foreign policies that we've seen over the last 6 months, the foreign reliance, the multiple overseas trips, 100%. And I talk to the great Lou Dobbs' wife almost each and every single day, Debbie Dobbs, a great woman. And I joked and I said to her, I said, if Lou were alive today, I think he'd be the first one on the phone with President Trump saying, it's time to get this message back to America. It's time to, really focus on America and driving the message home. So there's nobody more for America here than all of us who put everything into the show each and every day. And that includes you guys, the viewers. But that doesn't go without saying that what Marjorie has done or what these people have done is right. They've turned their back on a man who's had their back. And Donald Trump has had the backs of these people. Each and every single one of them. He's dragged them over the finish line time and time again. In 3 elections with him at the top of the ballot. In midterm elections where he's not at the top of the ballot. Where he's gone out to campaign for these people who quite honestly don't even deserve his time and energy. To go out and campaign for these people who can't pull themselves across the finish line and rely on him to do so. So yes, can things be different? Absolutely. And things can always be different. Should they be different? Yes, and I think we're on that track right now towards getting there. I think President Trump has shored up his deals overseas with investments coming into this country. We're going to talk about a big one today that he did. He's ended 8 wars. And I think he's now at a position where he's coming up on 1 year in office in just, I guess, 2 months, almost 2 months to the day, where he's now going to start to really hone in and tunnel in on the America First agenda and getting America back on track and bringing American production back to America, bringing pharmaceutical production back to America, ensuring the car makers are able to compete, Ford and Chevy and Chrysler, with foreign makers. You get the gist of what I'm saying. So I think that's the time, and I think he's gotten the message from multiple people. I'd spoken to some people who met with him this week personally, and the vice president and his chief of staff and the secretary of state. And they've relayed back to me that President Trump understands that it's time to get America back on track, and it's time to have America at the forefront of every single thing that's done from here on out until the day he leaves office. So that message has been relayed, and President Trump, from what I'm told, has received it very well. And he understands, because he is America First. He is the man who started the whole America First movement. He is Make America Great Again. So any of these members of Congress or senators trying to come out here to tell us that they're more MAGA than President Trump, they're more America than President Trump, remember who was the one who started it all. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, I know we did a show on her last night, and you're probably tired of hearing about her, but I want to get you guys the news. And by the way, we're going to monitor President Trump. He may be speaking here live. If he does, we're going to bring it to you so you guys don't miss a second of that. But Marjorie Taylor Greene used her time today to go out and stand with Ro Khanna, to go out and stand with Thomas Massie, and out with protesters who held up despicable signs claiming President Trump is a pedophile, claiming President Trump's a bad guy. Now, President Trump came out against Marjorie Taylor Greene. There was nothing personal about it. He said she's a traitor to the party, which is true. You look at her track record of what she's done for the last 2 months, 3 months, whatever the timeline's been, and she's done everything opposite of what a Republican would do. There was nothing wrong with what he said. But she's now come out and taken it personally. And she's gone personal, as most people do with President Trump, and taken low shots at him earlier this morning as she stood by her Democrat bestie, Ro Khanna. Take a listen.
That's what we did by fighting so hard against the most powerful people in the world, even the President of the United States, in order to make this vote happen today. I was called a traitor by a man that I fought for 6 years for. And I gave him my loyalty for free. I won my first election without his endorsement, beating 8 men in a primary. And I've never owed him anything, but I fought for him for the policies and for America first. And he called me a traitor for standing with these women and refusing to take my name off the discharge petition. Let me tell you what a traitor is. A traitor is an American that serves foreign countries and themselves. A patriot is an American that serves the United States of America and Americans like the women standing behind me. And I want to tell you that this only became possible today because the American people, whom we serve as representatives here in Congress, demanded that this vote happen, and they put more pressure on every single elected politician in this city than has ever been put on them. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files. But the real fight will happen after that.
For free. She keeps saying this. I supported him for free. I mean, she's had her head, so far behind his rear end, tailing everything he's done since he's taken office, because she wants that access to the president's office. And he doesn't owe, or I don't owe him anything. I mean, who does she think she is? She's come out here with this rhetoric, taking these little blind shots at President Trump. He called me a traitor, and I'm upset about it because of the Epstein documents. Well, if it was for the Epstein documents, Marge, why didn't he call Tim Burchett a traitor? Why is Anna Paulino Luna not a traitor? Why didn't he call Eli Crane a traitor? Or the rest of the Republicans traitors? because we've all been in favor of releasing these documents. It's deeper than that, and everyone has caught on to it with your little crocodile tears. But it didn't get much better for Marge as the day went on, as she used her time on the House floor to continue to attack President Trump. But what she forgot to get in there was her attacks for the Democrats and why they sat on their hands for the last 4 years under Joe Biden and waited for all of this to go down. Why didn't she call them traitors? Why didn't President Trump call them traitors? Because it's a lot deeper than that. And Marjorie has traded the party. Don't take my word for it. Go watch her interviews with The View. Go watch all of her interviews she's doing with CNN, kissing up to them as much as she can, like they're going to save her bacon. Let's take a quick break here, folks. We're live tonight here for the Great America Show. Rumble, YouTube, Twitter. Shout out to everybody joining us in. Kelly Song, we appreciate it. G Wi-Fi, Fall Girl. As always, a delight to have you guys with us. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side of this quick break, we're going to tell you about President Trump's monumental meetings today. We're going to tell you about 6 members of Congress who are staging a coup against President Trump, and they want the military in on it. Imagine that. President Trump supports taking the fight to the cartels, maybe even striking them. And Hillary, that's a good name. Bill and Hillary Clinton are on the run from Congress. What can they possibly be hiding for? What can they be hiding from? We're taking a quick break here. We're going to be back in 60 seconds. Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, guys. Please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. We truly appreciate it. We're coming right back. Please stay with us.
This past year has been one of the hardest in MyPillow's history. It's because of you that we're making it through. My employees and I want to thank you for your continued support by extending our wholesale prices on classic MyPillows. Get standard classic MyPillows only $14.98. I can't believe I'm even saying that. Only $14.98. But it gets even better. Upgrade to a queen size MyPillow for just $18.98. King size only $1 more. Get my body pillows $29.98 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of these wholesale prices, including my standard size MyPillow, originally $49.98, now only $14.98. Queens $18.98, Kings only $1 more. Not only that, order $75 or more, ship absolutely free. From all of us here at MyPillow, thanks, America!
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here in the Great America Show. We appreciate it. Rumble, YouTube, please be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Hit us with the thumbs up, and let us know where you're tuned in from. We appreciate it, and we try to get through every comment before the show is over and give you guys your shout-outs. So, Marge, back on Marjorie Taylor Greene, just for one more second. I know we're all tired of hearing about her, but I think it's important to bring you guys up to date so that you all understand and you don't have to waste your time reading and listening to nonsense. Try to make it succinct, 10 minutes on it to let you know where she's at and what the truth is, and not believe the lies that she's spewing. So anyway, after she did that little Ro Khanna thing and Thomas Massey, who her new best friends are, which I think she should keep. They could keep her, by the way. They make a good trio. She went to the House floor to continue to attack President Trump. And notice in this little minute-long clip of her, she doesn't call out the Democrats once.
It should have been the easiest thing for the President of the United States to release all the information, every single file, on behalf of these American women. These American women aren't rich, powerful elites. They do not have someone paying for their airline tickets or paying for their trips or paying for their expenses every time they try to do something to get this information out. These are your average Americans. And you want to know what the Epstein files represent? The cover-up represents to average Americans. It represents the failures of the federal government and Congress to the American people. And that is what people rose up about in 2024. They've wanted and demanded transparency from their government and for Americans finally to be put first. And today, with this vote, we are finally putting these victims and these survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and the cabal of rich, powerful elites that expands not just here in the United States of America, but to other countries as well. We're putting them last. And that is exactly what Americans want. You see,
that's awesome. I'm glad the files are coming out. I'm glad they're being released, and I mean that sincerely. We're all glad. We've all wanted this for some time. It was just funny to hear her not call out any Democrat for sitting on these files for 4 years. I also wish Marge was that animated about banning congressional stock trading. Something tells me she may depart from Congress if they do go ahead and with that ban of stock trading. She can't be happy about that. She's made a lot of money. This is a woman who's run a construction company. It's the only professional work experience I think she has. Now, I'm not knocking anyone who owns a construction company. As a matter of fact, you folks are probably the smartest people in the country right now, especially if you didn't go to college. You saved yourself a few $100,000. You make a lot of money. Probably work for yourself. That's the American dream. But I think it's fair to assume and fair to say that your specialty is owning that construction business, not being a Wall Street trader. I'm sure we have all the people that listen to the show. I'm sure we have some people who are home builders and contractors and would agree with that statement. Your specialty is building homes, or if you're a plumber, your specialty is plumbing. If you're an electrician, so on and so forth. But Marjorie somehow went from being this construction company owner to just a hell of a stock trader. I mean, she is. Her numbers are off the charts. Her stock buys are timed meticulously to the likes of some of the top hedge funds on Wall Street. So how did she do it? How does she do it? We'd all love to know. And I think it's time that Congress opens an investigation, not just into Marjorie, but into every member. Nancy Pelosi, of course, is departing Congress. Could be the reason. She heard that they were looking to do a stock trading ban. But I think there should be an investigation into every member of Congress, and every single stock trade that is done should be put under a microscope. If we're not going to level the playing field for the American people now, when are we going to? I think the answer is probably never. So let's look into it all. Every stock trade, every stock tip, every committee you sit on that relates to any stock purchase you're doing. And I mean, to think you sit on for example, a transportation committee or a armed services committee, and you see a budget beforehand. You know it's being spent on military defense. We'll just use that as an example. We're not calling out anyone in particular here, although there are some who could be. Dan Crenshaw, Marjorie, Nancy. How is it possible that you can be in an intel briefing, a classified briefing, with classified information, not known to the public? You can then leave that meeting, call your stockbroker and say, hey, Jimmy, I'd like to buy 1,000 shares of Lockheed Martin, or I'd like to buy 1,000 shares of Raytheon, or I'd like to buy 1,000 shares of Boeing. You and the few other people in that room are the only ones who had just heard that, hypothetically, of course, the U.S. is spending X amount of money on new aircraft for the military. Now, I'm just using this as an example that I don't know has ever existed, but I could bet you probably $1 million that I don't have that this exact scenario has played out before. All you have to do is look at the stock buys and when they were bought. And then when things were announced, they got Martha Stewart for I don't even know what it was. It was like in the hundred, maybe it was less than $100,000. It was a very small amount, and I don't mean small amount. I mean small amount relative to what Martha Stewart amassed. And they got Martha Stewart in jail for insider trading for like pennies in comparison to what these members of Congress make each and every single day. Yet, these members of Congress are somehow immune from any sort of prosecution, and they continue to do whatever the heck they want. How is that possible? How does anyone think that's normal? How does anyone think that's allowed? As we all sat here and struggled during COVID, sick, stock market in the hole, businesses closed down, businesses told you can't have more than 5 people in your business. Your restaurant has to close. If people want to eat, they got to sit outside in the freezing cold and eat under a tent in the middle of a street in Manhattan. Yet, during that same time, members of Congress prospered, traded stocks on insider information that they knew, and we allowed this to happen. So now I pray and I hope that Mike Johnson comes forward and does the right thing and allows a stock ban to happen. And you watch, folks, you watch how many of those members of Congress are going to mysteriously say, my time in Congress was great, but I think it's time to call it quits. We're taking one more quick break here, folks. Less than 60 seconds. We're coming right back. We're going to take up all the biggest stories of the day. I promise we're done with Marjorie, at least for today. We're coming right back. Don't turn that dial. We'll be back in less than 60, folks. Thanks so much for staying with us.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented My Pillow. My Pillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King My Pillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic My Pillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Thanks, everybody, for staying with us here on the Great America Show, YouTube and Rumble. Please hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Give us a thumbs up on the episode. Leave us a comment. Let us know where you're tuned in from, what you like about the show, or what you absolutely hate about the show. We'll take it all. Just moments ago, folks, as we're in the midst of talking about the Epstein drama, the Senate has officially passed the Epstein Transparency Act to compel the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. The Senate passed this bill by unanimous consent as soon as it transmitted from the House at the request of Minority Leader, good old crying Chuck Schumer. Schumer thinks this is going to help the Democrats, but we're expecting some high-profile Democrats to be named in these files. So what are you going to do then, Chuck? It's not going to be smooth sailings. No senators object, meaning the bill now heads to President Trump, and we'll be monitoring if President Trump comes out and speaks. We'll try to bring that to you live so you can not miss any of the action. My question for the Democrats is, what is next? What's next for you guys? The files are going to be out. People are going to be exposed as they should be, and I can't wait for it. I'm so excited because I want all the scumbags who preyed on children to be outed for it. But what's next for you guys? So it's going to be fun. So some congressional Democrats who, I mean, they constantly find a way to make a fool of themselves. And we're going to bring the video for you here because I think it's very important for you guys to see it. But they're now encouraging members of the military and the intelligence community to sabotage President Trump from within. Who can it be this time, folks? Who can be the Marxist dems? Senators Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, Mark Kelly of Arizona, along with members of Congress, Chris Deluzio of Pennsylvania, Christy Houlihan of Pennsylvania, Maggie Goodlander of New Hampshire, Jason Crow of Colorado, posting a video this afternoon essentially ordering the people of the military and the intel communities to betray President Trump and implement a soft coup, rendering him powerless to carry out his policies because they're so bad for America. Let's take a watch together.
I'm Senator Elisa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Touching, moving. What kind of coup are they trying to stage on the President of the United States? I mean, this is 6 sitting members of Congress trying to stage a coup on President Trump. I think the FBI, the CIA, the Department of Justice certainly needs to look into that, because this is part of this ongoing conspiracy that we constantly hear about each and every day. So President Trump in the Oval Office today with the Prince of Saudi Arabia, bin Salman. And it was an interesting meeting, especially with the media there. And of course, they asked their stupid questions, and they asked President Trump about his business dealings and should he have any business in Saudi Arabia. But what they don't mention is that we've done business with Saudi Arabia for years, through Democrat presidents, through Republican presidents, massive arms deals, some of the largest arms deals this country's ever done have been with Saudi Arabia. But since President Trump's in office, they take issue with the Saudi prince, and they take issue with President Trump's business dealings, or his son's business dealings in Saudi Arabia. Take a listen.
Is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans trust you? And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
But the
worst.
question is
One of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now.
Now, the funny part about that is I don't remember any of those members of the media asking Joe Biden, the little bit of brain that was left, the matter of the brain that was left there, about his business dealings overseas. President Trump President Trump ran until he became president, and then after he was president, And now his kids run a massive organization of hotels and golf courses and hospitality. It's what he's done his whole entire life. Overseas his entire life. This is not something new that President Trump is president and is all of a sudden now building overseas. He's done it his entire life. But none of those reporters asked Joe Biden about him going over on a very interesting trip to Ukraine to ask about, or demand rather, that a prosecutor be fired and foreign aid be withheld if that prosecutor is not fired, who were investigating him and his son, or about his business dealings with China. So I just find it sort of counterintuitive that these reporters are so hung up on President Trump and his business that he was doing years before and had nothing to do with politics, but left out Joe Biden's business. The guy's never had a real job in his life, never built a corporation, never built a company in his life. Sort of interesting. But while we're on the topic of that, the Prince of Saudi Arabia had a big announcement today about his latest investment in America.
Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas, in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the $600 billion will be $1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that, and
I like that very much. Go ahead.
He works hard.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the rest of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades. Preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies, that's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Just $1 trillion of investments. No big deal. Joe Biden brought those in every single day when he was president of the United States. Don't you remember? You probably don't remember because it never happened. Folks, before we wrap up, we've got to tell you, Bill and Hillary, or Billary, Hillary, whatever you want to call them, are on the run from Congress. They were set to appear before the House Oversight Committee on October 9th, and they asked to delay it, and the committee agreed to it. Now, turns out, Anna Paulina Luna, Congresswoman from Florida, says they're dipping and dodging and ducking altogether and will not be appearing before Congress to testify or give any sort of testimony. I wonder why. Now, what they were called to Congress for, you might ask, is to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. So I can't imagine why they're on the run or why they'd be hiding from anything. Before we go tonight, folks, I've got to bring you, because it was just absolutely amazing, President Trump, Caitlin Collins, earlier today from the White House. She, of course, tries to interject herself into every conversation before it's over, and President Trump just shut her down. Wasn't having it.
If your tariffs make prices go up...
Excuse me, we haven't asked you to speak yet, please. Right?
Oh, he's so brilliant in his ways and respectful. He did say, excuse me, right? I heard him say, excuse me. That's all for us tonight here, folks. We appreciate you joining us here on the Great America Show. We'll be back here tomorrow. I think we'll be in Florida tomorrow. It's getting a little cold up here on the East Coast. So we'll be doing the show from Florida tomorrow. So we'll be joining you from there. I hope you'll be joining us tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Each and every weekday here for the Great America Show. We appreciate you guys each and every night you tune in. I think we've got a very special guest tomorrow. Someone who's being sued by Kash Patel's girlfriend. I want to bring him on. I want him to tell his story and what he's going through right now. He's actually fled America at the moment. He's not even in America. So he'll, of course, be joining us remotely. But he's got an interesting story to tell. And I think you should all join us for that tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, for the Great America Show. Folks, we'll see you back here tomorrow for that. Until then, may God bless you, may God bless America, and may God bless the great Lou Dobbs. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.